6,000 police have been mobilized because of fears of more riots across the country. There are reports up to 30 protests are planned for Wednesday. Prime Minister has promised communities will be kept safe. K. Starmer said he had assurances that there were adequate officers in place to cope if violence flared up. Here's our political correspondent Damon Grammaticus.
It's just over a week since these riots began. Violence first in Southport, spreading to other parts of England now. For those who've taken part, the legal consequences are starting to be felt. This morning in Liverpool, 3 men who've all pleaded guilty to violent disorder are due to be sentenced. Yesterday, police chiefs were summoned to Downing Street for the second emergency coordination meeting in 2 days. The Prime Minister says more sentences will be handed out in the coming days.
Over 400 people now have been arrested. 100 have been charged, some in relation to online activity, and a number of them are already in court. And I'm now expecting substantive sentencing before the end of this week that should send a very powerful message to anybody involved, either directly or online, that you are likely to be dealt with within a week, and that nobody should be involving themselves in this disorder.
Some have already appeared in court. This was 20-year-old Liam Gray, arrested in Rotherham on Sunday. He denied the charge against him. A list circulating online has suggested more than 30 locations could be targeted by Riots today. Police in London issued a warning saying, "We know about the events planned by hateful and divisive groups across the capital. They've made their intention to cause disruption and division very clear. We will not tolerate this on our streets." After the Riots targeted hotels housing asylum seekers, some groups who work with refugees have been told they are at risk. One organization in Merseyside says it has closed its offices but will try to protect the premises today.
We will also be creating I suppose what I would call a peace line, for want of a better expression, so that we and the local community and the priest from the local church, which is part of our building, that we can all come together to demonstrate that we believe that we should have hope in the future rather than putting up with hate immediately as force is about to be used against violent individuals.
Saki Starma last night said those who felt threatened would be kept safe, but it's a severe test for a government that's been in office for just a month. Damon Grammaticus.
Well, our correspondent Chichi Zundu is outside Scotland Yard, and she explained what the Met Police in London are doing to reassure communities.
While the Metropolitan Police, in a lengthy statement that they issued yesterday, said that they plan to use every power, every tactic and every tool at their disposal to try and keep people safe, and it's not just Londoners that they're concerned about. Some 6,000 officers trained police officers are going to be deployed across ES locations, and 1,200 of them we do believe will be helping colleagues regionally and locally, and we do believe they'll be stationed around motorway so that they can get to some of the sites if violence does flare up. They have said that if people are concerned they should stop and speak to a police officer, and that local communities will see a larger increase of police presence in their areas. As Damon said in his report, they say they are not tolerating anything that could cause people to feel unsafe. Their job is to keep law and order, and they plan to do so. In their statement they say they know about the events planned by hateful and divisive groups across the capital, and they've made their intention to cause disruption and division clear, and they will not be tolerating that.
Thanks to Chichi for that. Let's speak now to Helen King, former assistant Commissioner at the Metropolitan Police, thank you for coming on the program. No problem, Louis. So just talk us through with this intelligence. It seems around 30 potential locations that could see activity today. What kind of preparations will police and police forces be undertaking right now?
Well, there'll be a huge structure, by now put in place. As you say, the intelligence is really important, so there will be specialist intelligence staff gathering that together to work out the locations to try and get ahead of who's going to be involved, so preventative action can be taken, but as well as the public order trained officers that we're seeing in TV reports all pitted up. There are also a lot of other teams at work, logistics teams, people arranging the rosters so they know who's on duty when briefing, teams, dispatch teams in the radio rooms, command teams to support that operation. Even people like the vehicle maintenance units will be working overtime to make sure that the public order equipped vehicles are ready and out on the road. And then we've also seen this big investigative effort, so people getting arrested, being interviewed, being kept in custody, files of evidence being prepared so they can be put before the courts really quickly. So this is a huge logistical operation, and the police are clearly making sure that they're as ready as they can be to respond to whatever happens tonight and in the days to come, as well as carrying out all the normal 247 policing that needs to be done to keep communities safe.
I think most people appreciate the resources will be stretched, of course, and this does put extra strain on everyone involved, but when you look at the level and amount of violence on the streets over the last week, is there an argument that police could have done more to stop it earlier?
I think it's very difficult to see how that could have happened. From what I've seen in the reporting, the police have got there quickly. They've acted with great courage and professionalism to keep people safe, and no one should underestimate the challenges of gathering evidence and getting people before the courts as quickly as they currently are. This will be having a knock-on effect on, of course, the levels of tiredness and resulting in policing. There will be officers working 12-day shifts, having rest days cancelled, and so on, and there will be some work that is either having to be put to one side or slowed down so that this can be prioritized.
And the role of social media, of course, is frequently raised. What's your view on it?
And clearly the different platforms, there's a range of responses and levels of helpfulness towards the police. I would like to see them, once this is over, in slower time, really thinking about how those online platforms can put more of the skills, more of the algorithms, more of the artificial intelligence in place so it can be proactive in preventing the spread of incitement to violence, incitement to racial hatred. Other industries, I think of the car industry, it's through the security technological developments that have reduced the ease by which cars can be stolen. Now I would like to see the online platforms acting as responsible global businesses and thinking about how they can design and set themselves up to prevent some of the very negative sides that we're seeing coming out at the moment. Thanks for watching this video.